up until that point, I had missed certain times. Were we not recording? Just realized that. So if you're watching the recording, hey, we just realized that we weren't putting the recording on. We just had a dance party, so hopefully you'll be live with us next time, and you can have a dance party too. But yeah, so I was not hitting consistently like big sale numbers, and a lot of people that I was reaching out to first and foremost were people I already had built connections with that already trusted me in real life. So I started, for the most part, with family members, with people that I was friends with, or Instagram, but I had already had an Instagram where I was consistently showing up every single day and building a community with for 3 years. So I had already put that in. And put that time in. So if you're sitting here and being like, well, I've just been for 2 months, like really consistently trying to build things up and creating connections, and like, why am I not getting sales? Or why am I not being able to close the sale? A, that's totally normal. And B, there are some tools and tactics that you can start to implement today that will help you, and they don't at all have anything to do with the words you say, literally. We have all the scripts in the world and all the tools in our Google Vault that you can go to and figure out what you want to share and how you want to do it. But genuinely speaking, the thing you need to focus on 110% at any stage in the game is, are you providing value with the things you are sharing? And are you showing up on Instagram for your people? That's it. And I think you know that answer. Like, if you can genuinely like look back and be like, yeah, okay, I've been posting pretty much consistently once a day. I'm showing up in my Insta stories. But it's like, are you posting about things that are providing value genuinely, or are they fluffy, fun things that make you happy, but aren't actually like positioning yourself as a quote unquote expert in your field? And what does that mean? Are you showing up and you have like a 3 to 5 category of topics that you know your person that you're speaking to every single day needs to hear? And are you providing value by sharing the answers and or engaging things around those topics? And this is a big part of what I have been implementing in my own business for the past year after I took WBA last year. And it was hugely, hugely eye-opening for me, because I realized that I was blanketing everything, that I was trying to put everyone into like my potential clients, instead of focusing on what, like, pinpointing specific, very, very, very specific aspects of my life, because those are the kind of people I was trying to attract into my market, into my business, and also like genuinely providing value to my potential people through social media. So we're going to end this with doing like a social media. I'm going to, like, 3 of you guys, I'm going to go through and audit your social medias. So if you would like to be considered for that, put your name in the chat now, and I'll like pick whatever, like 3 of you guys once we get there. But I just want to share a few aspects that have been hugely, hugely transformational for me. So number 1, I want you to think about, and I'm going to give you like 2-3 minutes to kind of journal this out and figure out what this would look like. I want you to think about where you were when you started your journey with Beachbody, whether it was a month ago or 3 years ago. And I want you to think about what you needed to hear about health and fitness in order for you to feel safe and heard and like, okay, she gets me. Like, I really needed to hear that today. And I want you to just like brainstorm it out for a couple minutes. And once you have some of those figured out, like maybe 2 or 3, if you want to share them in the chat. I love these. You don't need to lose the last 5 pounds. It's possible to be healthy on a budget and with a busy lifestyle. It is possible and important to put yourself first. Yes. So this is one of mine. Binging is way more prevalent than you realize, and you can heal and recover. Some other ones that I had said was you don't need to work out for 4 hours or 4 hours a day, not 4, but like 4 hours a day to be fit. Of course, you don't have to work out every day. Haha. You're not alone. Your purpose, finding your purpose. Positive mindsets are practiced and tools on how to actually achieve that, how to find confidence and trust yourself. These are all awesome things, right? And so I want you to think about that girl you were, or that person you were when you started. And chances are that, okay, we can only ever speak from our truth, right? Our personal truth. And our personal truth is our story. And so chances are you are speaking to your person is who you were 2 years ago, right? So when you're speaking in your posts, you are speaking to that person, right? You are speaking to the person, for example, for me, who didn't believe she was worthy unless she was the size 2, who thought that everyone and their, that nobody else, like everyone had no issues with healthy living, and that nobody like was binging behind closed doors. Like I thought I was the only person, right? And so it's like I had all these preconceived notions, and I needed to hear that from someone, but I didn't. And so when I constantly am thinking out loud to myself, like, okay, I'm creating a post, right? And I'm saying, okay, is this speaking to the person that I know? Like, is this that my person needs to hear right now? And every time I post something, I always come back to that, and I go, okay, does this reflect that? And I always have the three checkpoints, basically. I'm like, it either has to be educational. So I'm teaching my audience something. For example, right now, I'm all about the positive mindset because of everything we've been reading. And it's just been like, I'm super into positive psychology, you guys. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get certified in it because I'm obsessed with it. And it's just like speaking to my soul. And so a lot of the things that I've been sharing are about positive psychology, also about recover and resting because of my hip stuff right now. I've been super into foam rolling. So I'm trying to educate my audience in the things that are passionate about me, and also the things that I know that 3 years ago, Amanda was struggling with a negative mindset and struggling with not taking care of her body needed to know as well. And so I'm constantly gut checking myself. Is this educational? Okay. The second thing is it entertaining, right? Like, we don't always have to be providing value in the sense of like, I'm teaching a lesson, like I'm a teacher, right? Because often I'll put on my teacher hat, and that's just like where I love to thrive. But a lot of the time it's like I'm being entertaining in my Insta stories, right? Because that's who I am, and people are going to get the sense of me being a goofball. And my number one thing that I search for when it comes to women, either like in my team or as a client, are they goofy? Like, can they get weird? And like, can they keep up with my like weird ass wacky Wednesday videos in our group? Because that's going to go down. And I want them to be able to also show up in that way. And so I bring out that goofy side, or I get entertaining and I do squats with Toby, and like everyone and their mother was obsessed with those because, that's a big part of my thing. What are you saying? You're a good thing you are not on Amanda's team. And so, yeah, so is it educational? Is it entertaining? And then the last thing is it engaging? Like, are you asking questions and getting to know your people? Like, are you providing not just a platform, but a community within your Instagram. Because really what people are looking for is to be heard, right? So they want to learn from you. They want to have a reason to come back to your page every single day and to know that there's going to be a post every single day that they can look for and learn from. But they also want to feel like they are getting to know you, you're getting to know them, and that you have a vested interest in them and in their personality. Because really that's what Instagram is for, is building communities more than anything. So is it educational? Is it engaging? And is it entertaining? And if you cannot answer that question based on something you think you want to post, then it's probably not worth posting, at least from a business standpoint, right? Like, you have to put on your business hat here. We're not just like randomly hopping on Instagram as our like selves who throw up a post every 2 months. Like, if you do that, you're not going to have a business, period, end of story. Like, if you want to really rock this business, you have to be showing up as the like millionaire CEO that you will be in the future. But you cannot get there unless you put in the daily work. And so that is showing up on Instagram, if that's your platform, or Facebook, if that's your platform, or whatever that is for you. You have to show up with intention every single day, and it has to be for your people. So speaking of which, who are your people, right? And so I know we've talked about like ICAs in the past, but I kind of feel like the one person is kind of beyond where we're at now. So I want you to think about 5 aspects of the person that you are reaching out to every single day. You know, for example, like Rebecca and I did this exercise on Sunday because she's part of my Diamond mentorship, and like some of her answers were like, she's super into speech pathologist, and she's been focusing and finding a lot of people who are in like students still, because she's just coming out of that. But I told her to switch her mindset and flip from the student stuff, because that didn't feel like really her people, and go more towards people who are in that profession. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it are women who really struggle with their weight. And that's another aspect, and one of the like ones she was going for. So it's like, it doesn't have to be specific like job descriptions or whatever, but think about like the 5 aspects of the people that you genuinely want to reach out to every single day. And I'll give you guys 2 minutes to brainstorm that, and then share once you have them in the comments. Sorry, I was a dog outside my window. I love this. Okay, so Anna's is perfectionist, creative, maybe biz owner, into PD, spirituality, inner work, married, has or thinking about kids, wants to get healthy and fit to feel good. Weight loss is bonus. Nicole said adventurous, intentional, sense of humor, someone who is in limbo of struggling to find their purpose after college. Cool. Can we get a little more specific, Nicole? So I love that someone who's feeling like they don't really have their roots settled. So someone's like trying to find like their grounding. I think that's great. What does it mean for someone to be like adventurous to you? Like, does that mean that they like to like go on hikes and like they like to be outdoors? Does it mean that they like to try new things? Like, what does that mean, I guess? And then sense of humor too. Like, are they someone who like likes fart jokes, or like be really specific? And then, yeah. And then, okay, so I said teachers, women who think they need to work out like crazy to be fit, women who struggle with emotional eating, married / in a long-term partnership, so tired of dimming her light, unapologetic, her unapologetic goofy light. And then I see adventure seeker, multi-passionate. Does that mean like have multi-interests and or like jobs? Creative, simple living go-getters. Okay, can we get more specific about those things, Kirsten? So adventure seeker, again, like what does that mean to you? And then in terms of like simple living, does that mean like they're into minimalism and like you're gonna like talk about your minimalism stuff, or are they just like what does that mean? Get more clear about that. Okay, Rebecca. Yeah, body image shining way. I know we've already kind of dove into this. Craving community, especially because maybe they moved around a lot as a kid. I know it's something we talked about. Focus on self-care when you focus so much on others, aka people pleasers and teacher professionals, OTs, PTs, great. Healthy when you're on a budget and have no time. Love that, super specific. And we've been working on that a lot. Ooh, Kristen, in the midst of figuring out their next move in life. Interesting. Love that. Yeah, do you guys see what I mean about the specificity aspect of this? I've worked a lot with some of my team on this part, because I think the clearer we can be on what that looks like, the more intentional we can be with our wording and with what we share. Because like when I used to say goofball, like that's like a giant ass bucket, which is fine, but like sometimes that's like me dancing with Toby, and other times that's me like doing weird noises. Like, and then other times it's me talking about having a face mask on and going to bed at 9:30 because I'm a baby grandma, which are all great things and things that people can relate to. But am I entertaining sometimes? Sure. But like, is it engaging and is it like genuinely educational? I don't know. And so I think the more specific we can get like about what that looks like, and like, I think a goofball aspect, while it's definitely a part of something that is important to me, like I think that comes off very, very much so just by the way that I share in my Insta stories and the way that I word my things, less so as like, I'm looking for a goofball, you know, if that makes sense. Jane, I know we also just dove into this, but artists and creatives, yes, and like outcasts and misfits. I love that we're moving into this niche for you. I think it'll be so, so powerful. Women who love the outdoors but can still feel stifled by the burbs and city and need an outlet, totally. People ready to take responsibility for supporting their mental health to the best availability, using fitness to help, but not sure where to start. Love, 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 super specific. I know we worked on that a lot on Sunday too. So does this make sense? Like, is this kind of like giving you guys some light bulb moments? Because I know for me, like I was focusing, I thought I had like a specific people I was talking to, and then I realized that I was so vague, and that's not a bad thing. It just means that we can get more specific and more niche. So that being said, I'm going to do an Instagram audit. So real fast, I think I saw Nicole and Danielle. Which Danielle was it though? I'll go back. Early. Great. Perfect. Okay. Nicole Willis, I will do you first, my friend. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I think I can when we're doing group. Yeah. Let's find out. Can you guys all see that? Do you see the Instagram part? Okay. So let's pull up Nicole. And I would love for you guys in the chat. Maybe I can see the chat. I don't know if I can see the chat while I'm sharing screen. Maybe I can. God damn it. All right. unmute yourself and tell me. Oh, yeah, I can see the chat. Okay, never mind. In the chat, I want you guys to share just like your first initial thoughts. Like, obviously, some of you guys know Nicole in real life, IRL, because of Summit. But like, when you look at this, like, what do you see? Like, what are your first initial thoughts? Like, if you were to come across this Instagram page, like, who do you think she is? What do you think she does? What are your like first thoughts about her? Super chill and fun. I see a lot of goofy smiling, silly. Yeah. I would say comfortable in her own skin. Like, that's what I would think by looking at you. Positivity, real, fun, and light, into nature, holistic wellness, someone I would follow, right? All these things are true. What do you notice that she says at the very top? A human being, okay? Helping babes rediscover their own light and achieve change through health and fitness. Obsessed with tall pines and Orion's belt. So definitely loves the earth. Personality in the bio, totally. I also love how specific you've gotten on this, Nicole, because it used to be way less specific. So that's really awesome. I think having like what you do in your bio is huge. And not just like health and fitness coach, but like what it is specifically that you do. For example, like I help women ditch the diet and find joy in fitness. Like that's been my thing forever. And so I think that's really important to like get specific on that too. Cool. So now, talking from a value standpoint, because this is what we're focusing on, we're just going to go through your last 4 posts. So, do you think that this provided value? Nicole, you can unmute yourself. But do you think that this provided value to your potential customers?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because yes, I'm talking about like my personal life and kind of putting in some of my struggles. But at the same time, it's like I took a shower for the first time in a week and I shaved my legs. Like, this life update.
Yeah, I think like this kind of thing could be really powerful in a post, but I think you need a call to action, and you need to, I think sharing more about like how you're working your butt off to be able to like go beyond the 12-hour long ass days that you're working right now, which I know you've started trickling into your posts. I think if you took more in that would be providing value more so than like, here's a life update. I think this would be something more for like Insta stories. Like, hey, I've had a crazy fucking 12-hour day and I'm exhausted, right? Like, versus like sharing this on a post. I think it's a great photo of you, obviously. I think like it's beautiful, and I think that that's eye-catching, and that's definitely a part of it. But I also think like you did talk about self-care, and if that's something that are within your 5 things, I think that could be definitely providing value in that sense. But I think there's more to this that could be there. Does that make sense? Cool. What about this next one?
Yeah, just because that one hit on a personal level, because coming home from work, I really wanted to go back to work with what transpired. I know I'm enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling others that they are as well.
Yeah. Do you think that your person needs to hear these words?
Definitely.
Yeah. I think this is so much value. And I think that this is exactly it. And it's also a post of you and your body, which is like, it's hard to like share that sometimes, right? Like when we're being so present and like open. I think like all of this is a yes. All of this is a yes. Yes, 100 times yes. Yeah, I know you do have great legs. All right, next one.
Not really. I feel like it's just another like update in regards to me moving back and like missing certain aspects of the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you said, I could have done like a call to action being like, what's your favorite thing about the Midwest? Are there any of your favorite festivals that you go to that revolve around corn and soybeans?
Yeah, like, do you think that your person maybe lives in the Midwest? Because if so, then I think this could totally work. And I think
Mhm.
you having a call to action at the end of it would be a way for you to, like, find people that are local to you and be able to
Mhm.
build a community that way. Or maybe they're like obsessed with sunsets, or maybe you start talking more to your photography friends and talk about how now that you're back in the Midwest, you want to be sharing more about, and like picture and taking more photos of these like sunsets and sunrises and get back to your photography roots. Like, are there any other photographers out there who like are obsessed with this? Like, how can we gear and tailor this to your people is what I'm trying to say more. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Cool. And then let's do this one. And we'll move on. Go where you feel most alive.
I was really tired and I didn't know what to post.
Yeah. You know what I would have loved to see? Because I actually think this is it could be very engaging because you're asking a question. I want to hear what yours are. Right. So like for me, mine would have been like, my cottage is my place. Like, this is totally like something like I would post on like a weekend because it's like it's like easy, like post to like engage. My cottage is my place. I love being outside, which I know like a part of your thing, part of who you are is like, you want to find people that love being outside as much as you do. Right. So it's like, okay, what's that for you? Or where is that for you even? Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. You do need to give us selfie tips for real. Awesome. All right, let's go to Danielle. All right, Danielle, are you able to go? Let me see if I can find you in the thing. I know you were cooking. Are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to go just through the first word. Do you think that this one is providing value?
I think when I was talking about trying to go to people who kind of feel stuck or kind of feel like they've hit like a rock bottom, like I feel like the transformation pictures that I post kind of try to express like where I was to kind of like where I am now. So I'm hoping it does.
Yeah, I completely think I saw this post and I almost started crying. So clearly, I think, and what are the kind of things? I know I don't think you answered because you've been cooking, but like, what are some of the things that you think that your struggles with?
So in terms of like what I struggled with at the beginning.
Yeah, or what you think your person like that you're talking to now struggles with that needs to hear.
So actually I was right before Anna, but what I was saying that was I feel like it's someone who's hit rock bottom, someone who needs like an overhaul, whether it be like an emotional overhaul or like a physical overhaul, but it's someone that feels stuck. It's someone that doesn't necessarily have a support system, and someone who kind of needs that support system to kind of kick them in gear to like prove to themselves kind of that they can do it. And like I also throw in that I'm a high school math teacher or a high school teacher in general. I don't relate a lot to the elementary teachers, but the high school teachers, I feel like I really connect with a lot. And those are my cold market kind of connectors.
I love that. High school teacher. Do you think that that a lot of the people you're talking to are wanting to or needing to go through like a weight loss?
Yeah, that's kind of more my market. So to say, like when I speak with people, it's people who kind of like started, most of the people I talk to are like in the low 2s who kind of like want to get down into the 1s, like people who are gearing towards I need to lose weight. I'm getting to my bad point.
Okay, cool. So do you think that this one, based off of that, then hits those points?
Yeah.
I do too. I think it's awesome. And I think it's really short and sweet too. But like the photo, it in and of itself is so incredibly eye-catching. And like, obviously your transformation is huge. But I think like even the specific, like remembering and using a memory as part of that is really huge. Yeah. I even forget this sometimes. I think back to like a lot of my posts are like, when I was, here and now I'm here, versus like, I remember this moment and what I was feeling and like the experience I was having versus where I am today, and like sitting in the same outfit or like being in the same place and feeling so different. Like, I just think that's so powerful. Yeah. So I love that so much, for sure. What about this one?
I feel like this one's a filler. So I've been trying to do like a picture and a quote type of thing and like relating the quote to what I'm doing. And I'm not I tried to start it like the end of June, and I don't know if it's really bringing any value to it, but I've been enjoying looking for quotes. Sometimes I get great reactions to them, like as motivation, like motivating to people, like that whole, like, you can do it, be yourself, kind of self-promoting. So I feel like it does, but it doesn't. Like when I chose it, I felt like it was a filler, but at the same time, like maybe it does to somebody.
Yeah. Well, let's see. You got 15 likes. What are your normal likes like? What's this one?
Probably 20.
So just from like a likes perspective, this one got 44, this one got 54, this one got 15, this one got 25. It seems like the post with your face in it seems to do better, just overall. Right. I know it looks pretty, but I would love for you to kind of see if you were just to post your face for the next week and more specific. Like I do a quote every 7 posts as well. But what I try to do is, instead of filling it, because I used to do the same thing with quotes, I try to do one that's more of like a white bright background, and then one of color, and one of white bright background and one of color, so that at least my grid is still like maintaining that white balance or the bright balance. But it's not all quotes all the time, because I was finding my quotes were also getting really low engagement. And that being said, like, I think mantras are really awesome, but I think that personal stories and vulnerability is where it's at right now on Instagram. And I think you have so many things you can be sharing and talking about with respect to your audience. And I don't think you're giving yourself enough opportunity with all the quotes.
Mm-hmm. Well, agreed.
What about this one?
So this one was kind of more for myself. So I've been trying to battle kind of using my Insta as like my own personal blog. So this was like my Sunday fun day type of thing. So it's kind of like,
I think this is a lot of value. I think lists can be really valuable, because sometimes I think a lot of type A people and teachers are a lot of type A people. And so you're already speaking to that audience. Plus on a Sunday, they all want to know, like, okay, what can I do to set myself up for a good week? Like, I think you're giving your audience value in that way for sure. And I think, yeah, like what Anna said, I love the day in life posts personally too. I do too. Like, I think like, here's what I did. Like, I know I loved to hear those ideas, because I was like, oh, that's a great idea for how I can, like, do my Sunday next week and make more of an intentional choice with that. So I think this is totally, totally providing value. And then we obviously talked about the quotes.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any questions about anything I said?
No. Cool. I think I need to include more. I've been thinking about it. Like, I feel like I need to include more call of actions. I've also kind of like, I know I need more kind of like pictures of myself. So I actually went out east today with my cousin, and we took pictures out east, and we brought like our cameras and everything and had like mini photo shoots. So I feel like I now have kind of like more things to kind of use and post and everything. So I'm getting there, but very slowly.
And that's good. Like, it's good, one step at a time, but I'm super proud of you. That's awesome. All right, you guys. So I hope that's helpful to like see some examples. And you can obviously audit yourself too. Like, you're all smart human beings. You can go through your posts and just like gut check yourself. I do this like every like couple weeks. I'm like, okay, how are my posts right now? Like, are they actually, do they fall under the category of entertaining, of engaging, or of educational? Or am I just kind of throwing up a post for the sake of throwing up a post? I'm just going to go back through the chat, because I know, Anna, you wanted to do something before we close off too. So, Rebecca, did you get this answered? Probably a specific question. I feel like my list is getting longer and longer. Any sister, can you think of kind of categorize them into categories, or pick the ones that are most specific, important to you? Yes. Make sure that you focus on 3 to 5. 3 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5. Because if you have more than that, your audience is going to get confused about what you're quote unquote an expert in. And I know that word sounds like stupid and weird, and sometimes we're like, well, we're not supposed to be experts. But I believe you can put yourself as an expert. There's a reason I'm at Success Club 20 right now. Like, there just is, because I have for every single day, like for almost 3 years, shown up and I provided value within a very specific window. And the past year, I've been very, very intentional with that. I mean, I don't say that to gloat. I just say that because it works. Like, when you show up and you specifically talk to your people, with intention and keep it within that realm, yes, you're going to have multifacets of yourself that you're probably not sharing. Like, I don't talk about a lot of things. Like, I don't talk about my acting, like really beyond like binge eating and like certain stories I don't talk about my marriage on like, you know, online. Like they're just things that are huge parts of my life that I don't talk about in great detail, because that's not what my people need. So I just want you to get really clear. And actually, I want you guys all to share this in our Inspired Joy group. When we post the recording, you're all going to put your 5 things, just so that we can hold you accountable to the same thing. And we'll do like every once in a while, you can ask your coach to like, hey, can you check out my Instagram and make sure I'm like on track, or you guys have like a pod that you're all talking in. But it's just really important to really niche down, because when you do that, your people come to you in flocks. It's like, it's insane, the difference. From someone who has been there on the other side and has done it that the way where it was like 15 different things versus 5, it makes a huge difference. Okay, good, Danny. Back to my pillars. Anything else? Yeah, you don't need to plan your grid. So that's a great thing. So Betsy said trying to plan my grid was super stressful for me, so I stopped. I actually have stopped planning my grid too. I plan my pictures in advance, but I don't plan what I'm going to say, but I always gut check myself. And I go, does this fit into the 5 categories? And if it doesn't, I don't post it. Does that make sense? Unless it's like super, super on my heart and I'm like, I know this is out of the box, but I'm going to share this anyways. Cool. Yeah, expert just means experienced. Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. That's all I got, Miss Anna.
Awesome. That was so good. Thank you, Amanda. I have so many notes and definitely made me think too. Yeah, and like I said in the chat, remember in terms of like the niching thing into your interest, remember this is your health and fitness business. This is your Beachbody business. This is just one small part of your life, and you're not here to help everybody, okay? You're only here to help your people, which is, you know, minimum 3 people a month, okay? So who are those 3 people? You don't have to reach everybody. So the reason why we started with a dance party and then talked about presenting yourself on Instagram, you're probably thinking, okay, what does that have to do with closing sales? It's because how you show up is everything. Your energy is everything. And you have to project an energy of confidence, of positivity. Like, you don't have to be like happy, yay. Like, it's okay to share your pain, but you have to share the silver lining, and you have to share that you're like moving forward with your life and what you're learning from it. You know what I mean? Like, I just posted today about my miscarriage bills, and it's like, okay, I'm just going to spin this around and keep it real, but keep it positive, because that's what we're all about. Is even though you're going through the shit of life, even if you are going through darkness, it's like the reason we are coaches and the reason we do Beachbody and do personal development and work on ourselves is because we're choosing happiness. We're choosing joy. That's why I named our team Inspired Joy. It's not because I'm a naturally joyful person. On the contrary, it's because I was going through a really dark, really confusing quarter life crisis period of life. Like, Nicole, I can like relate to you. Like, I was where you're at 4 years ago. And I knew I needed a daily reminder to inspire joy, you know, to choose my values, because that's how I wanted to feel every single day. And it's so cool to come back 4.5 years later, or 4 years later since we started the team, and it's still helping me. It's still my guiding light, and it's still pulling me out of the darkness. So that's really cool. And so the reason we talked about Instagram is because how you show up online is how you're going to build trust and rapport with people, instead of just being this random girl on the internet who's dabbling in this health and fitness thing. It's like, no, you are a coach. This is your business. You are an expert. Like Jane said, expert means experience. You are an expert at making it to whatever point in life you're at right now. And so you can help other people who are struggling with the things you are struggling with. You don't need to learn more, do more, be better. You can just be yourself. So know that. So as you guys know, I got back from Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within this weekend, and it was such a game-changing experience. I can't describe it, because you kind of have to just be there. So put that on your vision board, is making it to a UPW. This is entry level. He does multiple ones a year. And think of it, if you were at Summit, okay, the energy wasn't like as crazy as Summit with all the rushing back and forth, but think of it as Summit, that energy of like the final celebration. Literally, I told someone, it was like it was like that Kool-Aid on Four Loko. It was like crazy. And he jolts you into a different energetic state. Like that's the whole point. Like the unleash the power within. It's like purging you of all the limiting beliefs and all the low vibe energy that's holding you back from embodying your full power and your potential and like who you're meant to be. And it works. So we did, and I'm going to keep sharing all this stuff throughout the year. Don't worry. But for today, I want to talk about just the more strategic and energetic, real quick ways of some marketing and some selling. So we learned this sales pyramid that was really interested. It was like a triangle. And so at the tip of the triangle, only 3%. So the triangle represents your entire audience. So we've done like a triangle thing before with like your cold market, your warm market, your challengers, your coaches. But the very tip of the triangle, you can just like mark that off. 3%, only 3% of your average audience is looking for you and ready to buy now. So those are the people you're trying to attract. But remember, that's only 3% of your audience. The next 7% of people, they're open to it. So they're open to it. They just don't know they want it or they need it, but they might see your posts and be like, oh, this was me. Okay. I was very open to Beachbody coaching. I had no clue what it was, but I was in a crossroads of my life and I needed something positive. And so Deidre swept in and was like, hey, I think you'd be great at this. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm open. Let's do it. But I wasn't Googling how to be a Beachbody coach, right? The next 30% of like the middle of the triangle of people are not thinking about it. They're not thinking about making a change. They're not thinking about getting healthy and fit. They're not thinking about joining your challenge group. They're just there. Then the next 30%, they think they are not interested. So these people are kind of hard to crack, but they think they're not interested, but you can maybe still persuade them to go up the triangle. And the bottom 30, the very bottom of the triangle is people who are definitely not interested. So that bottom one, they're definitely not interested. Do not waste your energy if people are if you feel like you're trying to convince someone and you can tell and you can read their energy and tell that this isn't really a good fit for them, or they're just super closed off and closed-minded. Just let them be and just tell them, look, I'm here for you. Here's my free community. Reach out if you need help. Move on with your life. But other than that, our goal is to move people through building relationships, move people up the triangle so you get them to that upward point of the 3% of people who are buying now, who are ready to buy. So I thought that was really interesting because it made me just give me more perspective on the people. And you can think of this as your Instagram audience. You can think of it as, your Facebook audience or whoever is in your audience right now and watching you. So how can you post things that will kind of spark the people who are not thinking about it to think about it and be open to it? How can you post things that will persuade the people who are not interested to be, open to it? Just think about that. So, and then they actually said, sales and marketing is not about closing the sale. It's not about closing at all. Because when we think about closing, we think about strategies or scripts or like objections. And we do have so many trainings on overcoming objections, on sales. We brought in my friend Megan Ward, who is literally a sales coach for spiritual entrepreneurs. She did a whole training for us for free. This is all on our YouTube channel. So we're not going to talk about scripts tonight because the tricks don't win over people's heart. They're not going to win people. What is going to win people over? It's not giving a damn about what others think. It's about caring. It's about being authentic. It's about coming from a place of positive, high energy and having compassion, having mercy, showing forgiveness, showing this like aura of I'm real. I care about you. I want to get to know you on a personal level. And then let's talk about how I can help you if you're open to it. So think about that because it takes the pressure off. Security, comfort, like what can you give people what they're craving? And the ultimate goal is for people to be in your presence and feel like when they're in your presence, they feel like everything is going to be okay. So how can you meet them at that level? And the whole thing, Tony Robbins' whole thing is about being in what he calls peak state. And your peak state is just being in this energy rich state of energy. So he also calls it the beautiful state. And we can call it being high vibe. It doesn't mean you can't be low vibe, but it means that whenever you are posting something, whenever you are talking to someone, whenever you are showing up and representing yourself and your business and our team and Beachbody, you need to be high vibe. And if you don't feel like it and you don't feel high vibe, then don't post. Don't do things just because you have to check off your check boxes, right? So be proactive to get yourself back into a peak state, because your emotions and your energy are what's going to drive everything. And if you are coming from a place of absolute certainty and confidence and high energy, you don't have to convince people to buy. They're just going to trust you implicitly. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, do you feel this, right? And so that's why it's so important to be a product of the product, because you have to offer people proof that this is legit and this is real. And that doesn't mean you have this amazing, like, oh my God, scroll stopping transformation. It just needs to show that you're showing up and that this is making a positive impact on your life in some way. And just share your why over and over and over and over. So can you tell, like, the energy, like, how is my energy different? Like right now it's like I'm using my hands and I'm smiling and I'm just like lit up because this is one of my favorite things to talk about, right? But if I was like, so you have to show up with compassion and mercy, and like, I don't, like, maybe I know this is going to be maybe expensive for you, but I don't know. What do you think? Like, do you feel that energy shift? You can kind of catch yourself, right? So that's why we did the dance party, because moving your body is the fastest way to shift your state. It's getting into your body, and it can be super easy. And one of the tricks we learned for snapping out of fear, like, how would you like to know an instant 2-second way to snap yourself out of a low vibe like fear, anxiety, overwhelm? All you do is you stand up and you shake your booty. Like, literally, that's like the scientific technique. You literally like shake your ass, because you are going to feel ridiculous. You're going to feel stupid, and it's going to break your pattern. That's what Tony's all about. That's why he swears. That's why he's aggressive. That's why he makes people laugh. That's why he's unexpected. The whole thing is to break yourself out of the pattern that you're in. So anxiety is a pattern. Sabotage is a pattern. Binging is a pattern. Feeling like you're not good enough is a pattern. Like, the stories in your head that are telling you why you can't do this, that's a pattern. Like, a pattern is any behavior or belief that is on autopilot in your head, and it's your automatic way that you react to something, and you don't think about it. You're not in control. It's just your pattern. So you can break your pattern by doing something out of pattern. So which could be something like shake your booty. So Danielle says, how do you deal with coming up with daily posts when you don't have that energy? Yeah, you're not going to have that energy every day. That's totally, what's the word? I'm losing my words. It's late at night. Yeah, don't expect to have energy every day. But like Danielle says and Rebecca says, yeah, you post things in bulk when you're feeling it and save them for later. So that's what I like, whenever, or figure out what time of day that you do have that energy. So don't write your posts at night when you're exhausted. I write my posts after I work out, or before I work out, and after I drink my Energize, and after I do my PD. And that's why you have to show up. And that's another thing that I learned or was reinforced, is that this is a practice. Okay. This is a practice. It's something we have to do every day. It's like, you can't just work out and eat healthy for one day and expect to reach your goals. And Danielle E., you know this better than anyone on this call. It's going to take time. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take dealing with the hard days, but not giving up. And that's how you get results. And same thing with your business. You have to show up and practice every day. So figure out how to get yourself into peak states that you can write posts. But also think about how you can flip if you're not motivated or don't have the energy. Gratitude is the fastest way to flip out of a negative energy. That's what I did today when I was paying off my $1,000, which was like the third round of medical bills for my miscarriage. Just like, I went for a walk and I was just thinking about all the things I'm grateful for and everything that this experience has blessed me with. And it made me feel so much better. And then I wrote this post that's getting like a bunch of likes because it's raw, but it's positive. And everyone's messaging me about it, right? And so that's it. It's like, don't overthink it, but just feel it. Or share a personal development takeaway, because you're doing your PD every day, so that's what you can share. Or share sweaty, or a picture, not a sweaty selfie, but like a cute picture of you pre-workout or post-workout, and share what your takeaway was from your trainer that day. because I can't tell how good Joel is at this yet. But usually the trainers have a message in every single workout, or like one quote that's just like, yes, and share that, so you don't have to overthink it, but just post what you're doing, right? And then also when you feel like you're in a zone, type out a bunch of stuff and then break it down into little Instagram posts. Because usually it's like I get on a roll and I write something that's like, oh, that's really long. So you can break it down into short things. So there's so many things. Or post a recipe, something easy. It doesn't always have to be rah motivation. Also, quotes work. Like, I love quotes personally, especially if it's like a funny quote or super motivating, or if you write something inspiring about it, like that can work too for sure. So yeah, so that's it. It's like dance party. And I was so judgy of the dance parties. Like, I never understood Amanda. And now I feel like I've not only met Amanda's level, but I have surpassed Amanda's level. And it's kind of scaring me. But it also feels really good. So, but that doesn't have to be you. Like, I didn't think that was my personality until I like got exercised by Tony Robbins. Like, he literally brainwashes you. I mean, it's good, but it's not like you don't recognize yourself, but it's more like, when you have those days where you feel so confident, like, just think of the last time you felt like you were just rocking your shit. You were so on top of the world. I had some days like this, especially like in high school when I was hanging out with my friends, just like staying up all night. Whenever you feel like a badass, like, that's how I feel every day now. And it's only been a few days and I'm also in the peak of my cycle. So I'm interested to see what happens when my energy goes down. But this hasn't left me, because every time I start to have my pattern of like overwhelm or anxiety, it's like I just flip out of it, and you practice it every day. So yeah, so that's dance parties, shake your booty. So I'm going to end, because I know we're going over time a little bit, but I'm going to teach you it's just 5 minutes. He calls it his priming. This is what you do every single morning to get into peak state. It's a lot like the Miracle Morning, but for some reason I could never just like be consistent with the Miracle Mornings. It was just so complicated. But peak state, like this morning priming thing, is really easy. And what it is you do a little bit of breathing, either breathing exercises or you get in your body. So number one is physicality, physiology. You either do a workout, or if you don't have time for a workout, you just do some breathing. Like, just be mindful of your breathing, or like, breathe in really deeply, hold it, breathe out. He did this thing. I almost hyperventilated and got dizzy. But we went like this and like breathe in, out, and like went really fast. And the whole stadium was like going like this. So you can do that too. That's what Tony Robbins does. But basically you just get in your body, you get centered, and then you spend 3 minutes maximum meditating on gratitude. So you pick 3 different moments where you felt immense gratitude, and you meditate on them for a minute. And then you do this visualization that, let's just do it, because I can't really just tell it to you. You kind of have to experience it. Okay. So we'll do this really fast. So let's show you how to do it in like 1 minute. So we're going to take a deep breath. So you're going to breathe in for a count of 4, just pause at the top, and then breathe out for a count of 4. So breathe in, pause, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. All right, now I want you to close your eyes and think of one moment, the first thing that comes to your mind, but a moment where you were super, super grateful. And just feel those feelings in your body. Just put yourself in that moment. See whatever you were seeing. Feel whatever you were feeling. And just focus on how that feels in your body. And so this is cultivating gratitude and this high vibe state in you. And now what we're going to do, you can keep your eyes closed. We're going to do a visualization that he calls the blessing. So now we're going to take all this positive energy and share it with the world. So imagine either a white, a gold, or an ice blue beam of light extending from the top of your head all the way into space. And when you breathe in, it goes through you from your heart all the way out through the top of your head. So you can imagine all the gratitude and positivity just like flowing out of your head straight up into space. So we're going to breathe in and then exhale it out. And as you exhale, this light is going to flush through your entire body. It's going to heal anything in you that needs healing, any tightness or tension, any emotional or mental pain. And it's going to shoot straight down into the earth. And then inhale and feel the light go up from the earth all the way out through the top of your head again. And as you exhale, feel the light strengthening every single part of you. And just feel this energy. So it's in you, and now we're going to send the light out of yourself. So just imagine the light coming out from your heart and surrounding your entire body, your entire room, the entire building you're in, your entire city, your country. And then finally, just imagine this bright light covering the entire world. And you are part of it. So take one last deep breath in and just let the light flood you. Breathe out, extend it into the world. And then you can open your eyes. So that was the priming. And then the last part of the priming is write down your 3 to thrive, which is 3 things you're going to create today, 3 results you're going to achieve, or, it's just like kind of 3 actions that if you accomplish them, or if these things happened, you would thrive. You would thrive, your business would thrive, but it would create positive momentum in your life. So write down your 3 things. And then you're going to look at these 3 things and you're going to visualize them, feel them, and see them as if they are already done. Is done. It's inevitable. Decide, be certain, resolve. Resolve that these things are done, and then give yourself some gratitude for achieving these things that you're going to achieve. And this is how things happen. And in terms of the resolve thing, I also like to relate it to like going on a trip, right? It's like going on a trip, you're going to plan the trip, just like you're going to plan your day. You're going to buy the plane tickets, you're going to find a hotel, you're going to make some plans. And then on the day of your trip, you're not there yet, but you don't question the fact that you're going to end your day in this destination, right? You just assume you're going to be there. You're going to get on the plane and you're going to go there and you're going to arrive and you're going to check in your hotel and then you're going to have your vacation, right? It's certain. It is done. As soon as you make the plans and book the flight, it's like it's already done. You don't go to the airport and think, oh my gosh, is this really the right decision to get on this plane? Like, unless you have plane anxiety or whatever, right? But normally it's not like, oh, am I good enough to get on this plane? Oh, is this plane really going to take me to my destination? Is this really good? Like, you don't second guess or doubt your trip, right? You just assume you're going to get there. That's the same thing with planning your goals and planning your day. Just assume it's going to happen and then it will. You have to focus on it, because what you focus on is what happens. Eliminate all the distractions. Shake yourself out of overwhelm and just know that you can do it. So that is our call. Thank you guys for staying on a little later. I hope this was valuable to you. I can't wait to hear your takeaways. And I will put the recording up in our YouTube channel as soon as it uploads tomorrow. Have a great night.